What's up, guys? So we're here in Ingleborough, Yorkshire, and we're in the main cave-in district. We've just been down White Scar Caves this morning for a look around. Those caves were found in 1925 and they go about a mile into the the mountainside. So we're going on our second cave-in journey this afternoon, and this cave was found in 1837, Ingleborough Cave. We're not able to film inside the caves because of preservation and stuff like that, but we're going to film en route to the cave, and we're going to continue this paranormal story, this adventure of the potholers who died locally in this region. One of them got trapped in a hole called Longman Hole. They were caving in 2007. One of them got trapped and the other two had to get out because it was flash flood and the water came gushing down and the cave quickly filled up and there was a lack of oxygen. So the two guys got out through a gap and they went to call for mountain rescue help, and by the time mountain rescue got here, the one caver that they had to leave behind was found sadly drowned and died. So we're in the region where the three of them used to pothole, and now all three of them have sadly passed away. One of the cavers took his own life because he wasn't able to live with the guilt of losing his friend, and the third caver was actually found bludgeoned to death, and that still remains a mystery to this day. So we're going to go on this walk up to Ingleborough Cave, Ingledene, and we'll continue. Evandy's going to run Spirit Voice, Spirit Talker, and we'll see if we pick anybody up en route. Okay.
We've got one follower.
Have we? Who's the follower? Oh, Robin. Oh yeah, there is.
Grandmother.
So,
That's what we're talking about.
yeah, this whole region is famous for potholing and caving, and a lot of people, really, they'll come up from London and other places, other parts of the UK or over from Europe, just to do like a week or a weekend's potholing. And some of them are very, very dangerous and you have to be very advanced. So they do run pothole and caving courses in this area, and you can book on those and you can start with basic sort of potholing skills, and eventually you can go off and tunnel on your own, with head torches and maps and all of that. But we were talking to some people this morning who run these caves, and they were saying that because of the climate change, the biggest problem they got right now is flash floods, freak storms and flash floods. So the caves fill up very quickly with water. There's waterfalls everywhere around here, and waterfalls pouring through the caves. When we get these flash floods, they fill up very, very quickly. And they've said to us they've now got a new evacuation procedure for people who are going in just for the general walkabout like we are. If lights start flashing, it means you've got to evacuate because there's a flash flood. Now, they said this has only been happening since like 2015, 2016, so it's obviously due to global warming. Before that, they didn't have this problem. These cavers, they died. One of them died in 2007. He was caught in Longman Hole because of the flash flooding. It was just the three of them. Because they were experts, they didn't need the guide with them and all that. So there was a court inquest, what happened. And after that, the second caver took his life because he couldn't cope with it. And the third caver was found dead in his home, and the police opened that as a murder inquiry, and they still don't know to this day who killed him and the reasons why.
Chinese guy. Who is he?
He was born in London and brought up here in Clapham at Ingleborough Hall, a weakly lad. He was known to be shy and reclusive, but the limestone landscapes and fells of his childhood inspired a love of exploration and passion for plants that could survive in rocky and harsh environments. On leaving Oxford University, he travelled to the mountainous areas of Europe and Asia in search of new alpine species. A number of these have made their way into gardens both at home and abroad.
Earth.
We're just talking about gardening.
Gardening.
And this is all these are like wild gardens, but the botanical gardens in England, particularly the ones down in London at Kew, they're all plants that were originally shipped across by Captain Cook and his crew, because, briefly going back to the Captain Cook story, he did 3 world voyages and he took scientists and botanists with him. And they were responsible for bringing samples of the plants and trees from all over the world back to England and planting them in Kew Gardens and putting them on display. So the think that the tropical plants and trees that are down there to this day go back. Some go back to that time, and some go back previously to Queen Elizabeth I's time. But we'll not get too deep into that now because we're going to be going to New Zealand in October, and we're going to do the Captain Cook series right there.
That's a lake view.
Yeah. So let's go this way. So we're going to see if we can communicate with these potholers again and see if we get anything relating to this story, a recent story as well. Not a very old story, 2007.
Disaster.
Disaster? Did that say disaster?
Disaster. I wonder what kind.
Well, it was a disaster, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He was trapped in a cave.
There would have been, wouldn't there? Yeah, disaster cave. Can you,
Are we speaking to one of the potholers?
can you elaborate?
Are you here with us right now at Ingledene? Ingledene Forest? Ingledene Cave? Did you come to this part as well? Because there are caves throughout this area of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
It's famous for it. Were you trapped in the pothole at Longman's Hole? Was there a flash flood, unexpected?
Can you tell us a bit more about a disaster?
Do you want to come down to the lake? Because sometimes I think if you stand in one peaceful spot, Andy, then you might be able to communicate a bit better with spirit. That's what I personally believe, if you get yourself into one spot. So he's disappeared. So once again my husband has disappeared. Seems to be a common thing. I must tell you what he did this morning though. I've got to tell you guys this one. We bought 2 cappuccinos, yeah, so I said, get me a couple of brown sugars please. So he came back with 2 brown sauce sachets. So I didn't say anything. And he put 2 brown sauce sachets in his coffee and stirred them in. No. And I said, do you think that's liquid sugar? Are you not sure that's not brown sauce instead of brown sugar? I'm just telling everyone the brown sauce story from this morning.
Yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant cup of coffee I've ever had. I like brown sauce on food.
How was the brown sauce in the cappuccino?
It was disgusting.
You could have come up with a whole new drink. You could have come up with...
Alive.
This is probably relating to how long were you alive for in the tunnel, because the mountain rescue team... Oh my god, yes, crucifixes on it. Do you know, I didn't see that. I wonder if this is relating to this then. Why has it got crucifixes on the bridge?
It looks like it's been done like a chapel. I wonder whether it was an old chapel.
Looks like an entrance.
There's nothing on there that says about it.
Looks like an entrance that you would go through, like, by boat, doesn't it? To...
Secret chapel?
Maybe. Back in the days when Catholics weren't allowed to practice.
You know
Perhaps it goes back to
Why
that.
are they there?
I have no idea. Is there any spirit people here related to this tunnel with the crucifixes?
Ugly.
What's ugly?
Ugly. Talking about me.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about...
How dare you?
Doesn't have to mean a person ugly. It could mean a situation.
Do you think that was...
Do you know what I mean? It could be like being trapped in a flipping cave and the water gushing down is an ugly situation to be in. It's not just used to describe a person ugly, it's used to describe situations as well. Yeah, it's interesting that. I hadn't noticed that.
Strange thing to... strange design, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like the crosses.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it goes back to when Catholics weren't allowed to practice their religion.
Oh yeah, because it's a perfect hideaway, isn't it, here?
So are there any spirit people really around this lake who would like to come forward and explain to us what this tunnel is all about?
Do you know what I mean?
Painting's eyes.
Painting's eye. Painting's eyes.
Paintings?
Painting's eyes.
Unless there's some paintings inside that tunnel, some religious frescoes or... You know, because...
Painting's eyes.
You know that hiking group this morning? I heard him telling the group, the leader was telling the group that there was some cave paintings up at the tops they could see today, so...
Well, it said 1,000 years,
cave paint, yeah.
It said 1,000 years, so it could go back to some stuff.
It could do. If there are any spirit people here at this lake, would you like to come forward? See, I do believe that water is one of the elements that can bring spirit forward, because you need the 4 elements of earth, air, fire and water combined with spirit, which are the 5 points of the pentacle star, which I've described before when you want to conjure up energies for witchcraft and spells and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's very unusual that, so it must have led to... There is a big church in the town centre, but I don't know if... Perhaps when it was full, the water was... We had more water, perhaps they could sail through to the church, perhaps, I don't know.
Maybe.
Is there anything on that thing up there about it? They must make some reference to it, because it's... Okay, so we'll continue on our way to the cave, and if we see any unusual things to film, or if any messages come through our spirit box, so we'll try and get back to our potholers. Alright guys, so are any of you present involved in this pothole story? This tragic pothole story? Does it say on there anything about it? Get on this super reading. It's like Short Circuit. No. Do you remember Short Circuit? No. Go on, do your Short Circuit while you read it. I bet some people don't even know what Short Circuit is. Google and watch Short Circuit. It's a film about a robot in the 1980s. Andy's doing Short Circuit right now. So do we know anything about that bridge?
No, it doesn't.
Alright, so let's carry on anyway.
Doesn't say it, doesn't mention anything about it.
So if we can bring any of these 3 potholers through, I can't use the names because we're trying to get the names to come through on the Spirit Talker.
But it's interesting because that bridge on that side is just a normal bridge, so there's some significance of why.
Looks like a tunnel, but for religious purposes, because it's got the crucifixes on it.
You would imagine if they were doing it as like a design, they would have done it on both sides, wouldn't
Yeah.
You know?
I've been here for centuries.
I know.
Centuries.
You've been here for centuries. You've been here for 1,000 years. Yeah, well.
But who would have been here for 1,000 years? Romans, that's the only thing really.
Been here for centuries.
And after that, the Crusade people, William the Conqueror's crew.
Well, what year were you here then? Centuries? What century?
Here's a question for you. Do you think that cavemen would come through, or do you think that cavemen didn't really believe all this spirit stuff? Because the thing is, Native American Indians, as far as you go back, do believe in this spirit stuff.
There is a theory, right, that a lot of reason why spirits come back is because they died either suddenly, unexpectedly, in tragic circumstances, or when they passed, they're afraid of moving
I'm
on.
standing right here.
Really?
Standing.
So if you're standing right here, you can show yourself then.
And there's always a thing that they always said, there's always the fear of God. Now a lot of spirits don't move to wherever it is you go because they're frightened of moving there.
Yeah, like that heaven and hell thing.
And I would imagine in that period, caveman period, there was no paganism,
No religion.
there was no religion, there was nothing. Basically, you got up in the morning, you went and got your food.
You hunted.
You hunted, you ate, you slept.
Yeah, that was it. Because you don't ever hear of any caveman ghosts, do you? Ever, anywhere?
That was basically how it was.
You don't have any caveman ghosts, and you don't have any ghosts, dinosaurs, or anything like that from that era?
They didn't have any fears about what they did. If somebody was taking stuff off you, you killed them.
Yeah.
And that was it. There was no, like, oh, this is a bad thing, because nobody ever told them. Nobody ever said to them,
The child wants help.
the child wants help, could have drowned.
Did it say drowned?
No, it said the child wants help.
Maybe there's been a drowning in here or something
Yeah,
then.
you could, I would get those in this side.
Because you remember at Humphrey Head up Morecambe Bay last week, and we found the grave of the kid that fell off the cliffs.
Kids swimming.
Not all kids have a plaque in the memorial, do they? So we wouldn't know, would we, unless it come
Kids
forward?
swimming, getting stuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I think that theory is a lot of people, spirits come back, is because they've been given a set of things, morals, codes, how you live your life, by whatever religion you are.
Yeah.
You live by that sort of
Night.
belief. Night.
Nighttime. Maybe somebody fell in at nighttime with the lake.
So, if you've lived your life against what your supposedly beliefs are, you're going to be afraid of moving on, aren't you? 'Cause
Yeah.
You're expecting you're going to be judged.
Which is where the Catholic religion comes in, because it's so flipping strict, and you know, you go to hell if you don't go to confession and all this. It's just too much
This
for
is
people.
what I mean, and I think this is like...
They make you believe in your religion because you fear if you don't, you know, that's what it is.
And
It's controlled by fear.
the Catholic religion, everything you do in life that you enjoy doing is a sin. You're not here to enjoy your life. You're in here to suffer, supposedly, like Jesus suffered for us.
Yeah.
Now, that's wrong.
Yeah, it
Because
is.
basically people of that persuasion are scared of doing anything. And that's why you get a lot of restless spirits coming back. A lot of restless spirits who are angry. But that period before, cavemen, times not long after that, had no limitations. They did what they did, and that was it. They did what they did without any kind of belief.
Yeah, because before that, I mean, you think about it, the earliest we can go back in this country is the Pictish people of Scotland, isn't it, really, the Highlands?
Yeah.
And the Vikings from Norway and Sweden.
And then you sort of people intellectually started telling them that gargoyle.
Well, that would be related to a church, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Look at the colour of that water over there. I wonder if that's a natural spring. The reason, well, the thing is, that guy from the caves this morning said sometimes if there's iron in the water, then it will turn that colour, didn't he? But also, a natural spring is that colour.
They'll come out through the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... And then people started, talking that you need to make some sort of sacrifice to the moon or the sun. And the sun and the moon were the gods. Then things progressed and battery.
The sun, the moon and the planets played a big part in a lot of ancient religions, didn't they?
And that's why if there was...
And for those people that's going to start whinging and moaning going on, I don't research things, this is pure speculation, by the way.
I mean, you have times where we get it now, don't we?
Yeah.
Get a really bad winter or a really bad summer.
Yeah.
And it's just weather. We treat it as just being weather. Then it was serious, because if you had a summer or a winter where your crops failed, it was because you hadn't, the gods were displeased with you.
Yeah.
So they made sacrifices, and most of the time a lot of the sacrifices they did were children.
Yeah.
And that's why with the Aztecs and the Mayans, and you used to get a lot from that period of time.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
It's like the further back you go, the more they believed in, like, astrological things.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, even today, in some religion, there is not so much sacrifices, but people give offerings. The Buddhist religion, they do offerings to the gods. We do it. Pagans do it.
Yeah.
They do give offerings. They give, it can be anything from, even in today, a bar of chocolate.
What was that come through there then?
Belittle.
Belittle.
I'm not trying to belittle anybody. But you used to get, even that now can be classed as an offering, can't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You still get it.
So a lot of these discussions we have on our channel are just spring from nowhere. We don't plan them, we just openly discuss and hope other people come along and join in with their views and opinions of things that have yet to be proven. Lately we've had some negative comments coming to us about you don't research things, blah blah blah. It's like, well, we like to leave it open for spirit to come forward and tell us, the history of a place, or whatever. We don't always want to read the flipping thing and then come on and bore people with the dates and the times and the names of these places. We like to leave it for spirit to step in and say, this is when I was here, this is what it was, this is what it was used for. You know, we're not flipping historical tour guides or anything like that. So those people that are not happy with us not doing the research, we're not doing the research. End of.
It's places we go to that we know a lot about, and that's life. But a lot of the time I would rather not know much about the place, do the shoot, do the video, and then when we're finished, look at what we've got, and then go back and have a look. The same as Gawthorpe, right?
Yeah.
I knew nothing about black hair.
Black hair? Oh, someone's picking up. Yes, I have got black hair.
Yeah, but like Gawthorpe, we had that. I got those chest pains, and I've never had that before.
No.
I don't get them, I don't have that problem or anything like that.
Yeah.
But when I went to have a look, I thought, I'm going to have a look, see what paranormal experiences people have had there. And one of the experiences, and anybody who can go up and they can have a look, go up on the website, put in Gawthorpe Hall.
Should we sit here for a minute and see if we can make any communication with these potholers?
Ghostly experiences. It'll tell you one of the things that people have experienced more than anything is chest pains.
And we didn't know that, did we?
Feeling of being somebody pressing on the chest.
And we didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about that, and it was only when I'd looked up because I knew nothing about the place. I mean, there's some places you can't help but know stuff about it. But it's great when you go find a place that, which is an abandoned place that you've heard of, but you don't know much about the history of it. It's like that little house we found. We knew nothing about the history of it, and we still don't know much about it. But we had stuff coming through that you could connect and that is what happened. But
so we're trying to reach out to the 3 potholers from 2007 who had this freak accident.
We're here to help. But I mean, you can't research everything. And people watching this have got to remember, we're not professional YouTubers. We work 10, 12 hours a day during the
I think
week.
people forget that about me and Andy. We don't get paid by YouTube. This is not our job. Andy works about 60 hours a week in one factory, and I work about the same in another factory.
So we only have weekends.
We're doing 12-hour shifts Monday to Friday, usually, the two of us. And we do this at the weekend as a hobby, as an interest. So if we're not like professional archaeologists, apologies for that.
Yeah, but we're never going to be spot on with everything, and that's the thing. We're never going to be perfect on everything, and we'll honestly tell you that we're not going to be perfect. We do this because we enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
We enjoy doing it, and we would still be doing it if we had 1 viewer and 1 subscriber. We would still be doing it because it's just what we do. You know, a lot of these other YouTubers, that's their living. They get paid for it. They get paid by the viewers to do stuff. We don't get a penny from anybody. All this is paid for by ourselves. So that's how it is. So
let's just try and see if we can get these potholers again through. So there were 3 guys in 2007.
Yeah.
Potholing.
Yeah.
Flash floods, freak thunderstorms, and one of them got trapped and drowned. And the other 2 went to get such a rescue, but it was too late.
Many lives were lost.
Many lives were lost. Maybe many lives have been lost in that particular potholing area. Longman's Hole, it's called.
Well,
should we carry on walking up now then and get a bit further along the track?
If you think about it,
I mean, it's popular for people that are really skilled at potholing.
But
skilled people, you know, not just random people who want to do it as a one-off.
The nature of doing that is a danger, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get you've got to be.
Got to know what you're doing. You've got to learn
You've
it.
got to know. You've got to be with people with it, because it's not something that you can just go, oh, I fancy doing that, and go and do it. You can't.
No, you can't.
Bed.
Because you've got to buy all the potholing gear. It's like rock climbing, but underground, really, in a way, isn't it? How you've got to be kitted out.
And not only that, you've got to know where you're going and all that lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
So although these 3 guys, 2 of them, really beat themselves up about it, you know, we couldn't save him and all that, and it went to court.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes there's situations that you just cannot help, no matter how much you want to. It's impossible to be able to save that
The
person.
thing is, you look at it, and it's a dilemma that anybody could be put in.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's trapped in a burning car.
Yeah.
You know, within a few minutes, that car, the petrol is going to ignite, and it could blow up. So you look at it and you think, well, what do I do?
Yeah.
Do I go and try and help that person out of the car, right? With the sort of 99% chance that that car's going to blow up and you're going to lose your life. So what do you do? The chances are that person, even if you get them out, they're going to be scared for life. They're not going to live long, because what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's... And I don't think you can answer that question until you were inside.
No.
You were in that situation, because most people will go, yeah, I'll go back and help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the answer for me.
So,
but then you look at it and you think, what do, you know?
Yeah.
People,
So the 3 potholing guys, one of them took his life within 5 years of
Carl.
that accident because he couldn't. That's not one of the names.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do here is, one of the names we got through at the station in pub last night, so you really need to watch the first episode, and this follows on from that.
More to the history.
More to the history. Is there more to the history?
Well, would you like to tell us a bit more?
Yeah, because nobody found out who bludgeoned that lawyer to death.
There's more to the history of it.
Who was the 3rd potholer?
What more is there for us to know? You know, you can tell us. Nothing's going to happen to you now. It's too late. You're not with us.
Well, I mean, what if they purposely left him down there because they wanted rid of him? I mean, there could have been something going on in that friendship.
Well, yeah.
That had turned sour. Because there were 3 guys who met at Oxford University and come up here potholing at the weekends.
Yeah.
And then when they left uni and got married and got jobs and all went their separate ways, they kind of drifted.
Did this guy who was left behind, did he find something out about the other 2? And
there is a rumour
that was their ideal chance to...
All I'm going to say is there's a rumour that the 3rd guy was a bent lawyer, was like making the decisions about certain people's cases to suit himself or to suit individuals.
I'm listening carefully. Right, I'm listening carefully.
Is that the case?
So, can you tell us a bit more? Is that correct?
Because don't forget, some lawyers will, if they get paid the right amount of money, will turn Has that drained? Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah, that was about 60%.
And it's just drained. But didn't you get a message on that before that said battery?
Battery, yeah.
You got a message that said battery, so it's drained your battery. Not for the first time. So we got a message on Spirit Talker before that said battery. And now Andy's camera battery is completely drained to 0. We'll stand here a moment to speculate on that. It's happened before that, hasn't it? That's happened before where we've had the word battery come up and the battery's drained. It happened, we were at Rivington Pike doing UFO stuff, and I think the word battery flashed up and then the battery drained on 2 cameras at the same time, and that we just can't explain it, but that's kind of more UFO UAP thing rather than a paranormal, I think more. But I do believe that spirits can drain energies from items such as this camera and that to present themselves. Maybe we made him angry by saying your friend was a bent lawyer. He probably, took crooks to court and supported them. I don't know, really.
That could be a reason why.
There was a rumour, but it was never proved.
Yeah, that could be a reason why the battery's drained.
Maybe.
I was somebody was telling me a bit more than they should have done.
Maybe, yeah, because all three of them are dead now.
Oh, I can do with that.
So the first one died in the pothole in 2007, the second one suicide in 2013, the third one was found bludgeoned to death in his London home in 2018.
It's funny though, they never ever caught anybody who killed him.
No, and the guy in 2013 had come out to tell people that this cave-in story wasn't entirely true. The story they told in court was that they couldn't get to him because they'd gone off down some other tunnels and he was left behind and they couldn't get to him. The true story, when it all come out, was that they could have got to him and they could have saved him, but they said, the lawyer guy went, leave him, let's just go. So, and they had a bit of a scrap over it and a scuffle over it for the following 5 years, until the one guy couldn't live with it anymore and just said, look, I can't deal with this anymore, and took his life. Left a letter for his sister. The sister handed it to the police, full confession of what really happened in that pothole, and the police gave it back to his wife when they'd finished with it, and then the lawyer mysteriously died, murder. So it's all a bit, it's recent. You can probably Google the story, and author Anthony Horowitz has written a book around it as well. So maybe it's worth, I think it's worth following up on to get some truths of what's gone on with this murder case.
The fact that we've never found who murdered the lawyer, I'm wondering whether, there's just one, the guy who they left behind, right?
Yeah.
Maybe bit of blackmail.
Maybe.
Bit of blackmail.
Maybe.
About something.
Maybe you knew something, like you
when
said.
It all came out of what had happened, right?
The three of them were law students.
Suddenly the people who were the lawyers he was in their pocket decided, well, we better do something about this, because this goes to court and he starts blabbing about what was that mean, he was blackmailing me about this, that and the other.
Well, the thing is, right,
it might come out about us, so we'll get rid of him.
They all studied law at Cambridge. Two of them went into ordinary law and one went into financial law. The guy who took his life went into financial law.
Right.
But the other two, so if they was working cases, and maybe something went wrong with in their careers.
Yeah.
And that potholing experience was probably a good chance for him to get rid of the person who had evidence against him, perhaps.
It would be interesting to know who organised that trip.
Yeah, it would really.
If it was the top lawyer, that would point towards that he wanted a reason.
Well, after that potholing,
a reason for
after that potholing disaster, the lawyer in London went into hiding. He became like a recluse. He wouldn't come out and socialise. He stopped going to parties, stopped potholing.
Exactly.
He stopped all the things that they used to do. So, and the second guy who took his life, he was struggling badly with his health, with his nerves, with anxiety, with everything, because he knew something wasn't right about it all,
Yeah. Mm.
And this all happened in this very region, and this is why we're here. So we're going into those caves to get a feel of what it was like. And when you walk through the cave, like White Scar Cave this morning, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into these long tunnels, and there's waterfalls gushing down either side, and it becomes narrow, and there's little crevices, and you think, you can see a person could easily get stuck and not be able to get out.
It's in some bits it's hard walking when you're going through bits that are properly open.
Yeah.
When you think these guys are going
On
through
their
little
own.
crevices, you're squeezing yourself through.
Yeah.
It's you can understand how you get caught. You can understand, but it's just a strange story.
It is a strange story. It started at the Station Inn last night. So part one is Station Inn, where the three potholers used to meet up, and then but the guy at the pub said that they have a ghost called George in there, right? Now the potholer who took his life was called George, so we're wondering, is it him? Is it his ghost? Has he come back because he's restless still, perhaps?
Well, it would figure that. If he's restless and he might be trying to get back. Because I would imagine if they were going there, they might have stayed at the hotel or the place next door.
Yeah.
that bunkhouse next door. So he could be going back, trying to save his friend,
Yeah.
and he can. And he's still at the pub, frantically going round. I need help, I need help, I need help to get him out.
Yeah.
You know, and that could be one of the reasons why things are being moved and people are seeing him. You know, and that guy said his dad had actually seen it twice. A figure stood in the doorway when there was nobody in there.
Yeah.
In one of them bunkhouse apartments. So that's quite possible.
So you know,
It could be him.
you know what I think we need to do is follow up. We need to rent that bunkhouse where the three potholers used to
I
stay
think maybe.
and conduct the paranormal there throughout the night and see what we get.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. That, and then we can put more focused deeply on that.
Yeah, because if we rent it for a night, we can get the Ouija board on it and
We
everything.
can do everything on there.
Take all the equipment and everything.
Yeah.
Because when you're filming in a pub full of people, there's only a certain limited amount of equipment you can use.
Oh yeah.
Obviously with the noise and all that.
Yeah.
So if we hired that place to ourselves for one night, do the potholing story again
Do it.
with all the equipment, including the Ouija board. And let's see what we get through.
And you think late at night it would be quiet.
Yeah, it would.
You know.
So we're coming up to an unusual rock formation here, so let's just quickly film this and see what this is all about. Look at this. Look at it. You can actually go in it as well. It's a pity the batteries run out on your spirit talker. You can't communicate now because we've lost the battery. But it did actually say battery and then it drained. So, and it's not like the phone's alarming that battery's going to drain. Spirit talker itself actually said the battery. And then the battery drained. Some things we cannot explain. Some things do remain unexplained. And you can live all your life and do this stuff and still not have an explanation at the end of it all. Go on. What is over the archway?
Gargoyle.
Really? We got gargoyle, didn't we, before? We got gargoyle. You picked up gargoyle before your battery
I
died.
noticed it's
There's a gargoyle.
It's been worn away quite a bit. But over
That's
that, there's a
interesting.
big, massive gargoyle.
Oh, and we got gargoyle.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff's linking up. I'm wondering what used to be here before, because there's bits of ruins here and there, aren't there?
I would imagine it was,
Maybe it was someone's private garden.
you know, like
Leverhulme Park at Rivington,
you know, like,
China Gardens and all that,
that
Japanese
sort of thing,
gardens.
like a folly people have built. You know,
Yeah.
they're not actually they're not a crumbling bit. They're actually built like that.
Yeah.
The people built it for their own
Like
pleasure.
a garden thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to know who actually owned this land. I know, like, National Trust have it now, but
I'm looking at
somebody
that.
must have sold it to them.
I'm looking at that. I think it was somebody Farrer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so perhaps it was his
So-
monumental garden then?
Well, I think he was. I think if I remember, the guy that was down there, he was a botanist or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
Don't quote me on this.
Alright. Yeah, because we don't research things
I
at
don't.
all, ever.
No, but I'm sure. And funnily enough, that what's he called? James Farrer.
Yeah.
When we were sat in that station hotel last night,
Yeah.
there was a painting of him sat behind you.
Oh, so he's some local big landowner then,
Yeah.
who probably contributed a lot of money to the area.
Yeah. I think he was, if I remember, I think not a botanist. I think he said he conservationist.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's,
What's the difference? I don't know the difference, do
I
you?
think botanist,
Do they sort of like name the plants and like...
like a knowledge of plants, flowers, and try to cultivate them. Conservationist, I
Think they
think he's
sort
just
of
somebody
keep 'em,
who's
don't
trying
they?
to preserve
Yeah,
the area
yeah.
as best they can.
Maybe he produced
know.
this natural park then.
Yeah, I mean, like,
You know, if it was his own land, perhaps that's what he'd
you
do.
know, like sometimes conserving the area means chopping trees down.
Yeah,
So
maybe. Let's
you
just
don't-
film over here and show people this sheer drop into the water here. You can hear it down there like a ravine. Look at that. The way down there. Oh my god. Do you know what? This takes me back to, although it's nowhere near as deep, in Bolivia. I think I told you once before, guys. One of the world's most dangerous roads in Bolivia. I went down it in 2002, and you have sharp bends, and there's like shrines, crucifixes and people's names and bunches of flowers strapped to every bend. You've got water coming down from the mountains, there's mud all over the road, water going down, and when you look down there's mangled minibuses and mangled cars where people have gone over, coaches and things that mangled. They get the people out but they leave the vehicles there, and it's an hour and a half from La Paz and then an hour and a half back, the world's most dangerous road.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing, but it's truly one of the more kind of exhilarating and pretty scary journeys to do. We are hoping to get back together and do that, me and Andy, because I did that alone, well, with some friends, but we're hoping to do that at some point, you know, together. But we're off to New Zealand in October to do the Captain Cook thing, so we're going to film all of that for you. Yeah, thick, dense forest. Oh, yeah. It was, because it just drained as soon as you said, as soon as you got the word battery up, it drained. And like we was just saying, when we stopped at the, that, with the gargoyle over the top.
Yeah.
Because you got the word gargoyle come up, didn't it?
And then battery.
And then
the
battery.
just,
And we just saw the gargoyle. What was the gargoyle, did you notice?
It was like
It was like a goat head or something with horns.
No, like a sort of dragon thing.
What
Like,
was it?
no, that gargoyle look, that, like a devil, demon.
Okay.
Like
Bit like that was you've got on your top there.
Like
Baphomet.
Yeah.
Bit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we were saying you could be on this quest all your life and still not get the answer at the end of it. You know, a lot of people that did digging in the Egyptian tombs,
But you know what
you know,
they say?
never found what they were looking for, some of them.
You know what they say? You've got to be in it to win it.
Well, you have to be. You've got to keep
If you
going on,
don't-
haven't you, and carrying on and doing it, because, you know, if you don't, you're not going to find.
The answers.
It's like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, innit? You know, where they're forever trying to find this thing, and it's the same. You know, you've got the guys over in Oak Island digging and digging, looking for the what they think is down there, the Knights Templar's gold and stuff, and they'll keep on going until they find. But they've actually had quite a few good finds now,
They've
them
had
guys.
some good finds, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think they'll be satisfied until they find something really significant.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I love those guys because they just don't give up. You know, they
But-
carry on and carry on.
Who's to say that one day they will?
Well, this is it.
You know what I mean?
Perhaps they're meant to keep
And-
digging, and you know.
Thing is, what would happen with that if they did
Well, I don't know
find
if.
a load? See,
I think it would have to go to. It belongs to Canada, doesn't it, Oak Island? So they
See-
probably have to hand it into the museums. But at least they could put their name to it that they discovered it.
this is another thing. Right, people go on. Oh, the Knights Templar's treasure and it disappeared and all this but everybody's presuming the Knights Templar's treasure is gold and money and coins and jewellery and all that kind of wealth. Maybe the Knights Templar's treasure was
Knowledge.
was something else.
Secrets.
And I'm going to go back to me. Oh,
No, go on.
uh,
We've lost battery, so we may as well talk.
we haven't lost battery.
Not on the camera, on your phone, so we can't do
Oh,
any
I thought-
paranormal.
I thought you lost my battery.
No, this battery's
No,
perfectly
my-
fine. Brand new camera. It's like a brand new car, innit?
My brand.
I don't scratch it or dent it or crash into anything with it. The husband's new car, the husband's new camera.
Given to her. It's our new camera.
Yeah.
It's our new camera.
All right, a
No,
joint camera.
Maybe the so-called mysterious treasure of the Knights Templar is in the same place as all the other so-called mysterious works,
Yeah,
different
maybe.
things. The Vatican archives.
Oh, what? And what the stuff they have in there.
Because this is my theory.
Don't get me started on that again,
The-
Mountain.
Right. A lot of people think that Knights Templar's treasure was either where Mary Magdalene's tomb was,
Yeah.
or the Children of Jesus was, or connected with the bloodline. Right? Maybe they've got that after that. What's it called? The priest.
Some bit of
The priest.
Yeah.
The priest. Sonia. Maybe they took that after he died.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
So just explain about Sonia for those people that don't know.
Father priest, the Catholic Church in a little town called Rennes-le-Château. People probably heard of that. Don't quote me if I'm wrong on this, because I'm not the expert, but I'll give you my general gist of it. Yeah, he was in a run-down little church, falling to bits, everything. One day he discovered something, and off he trots to the Vatican, you know, and suddenly, from nowhere, he's got his church renovated into the most beautiful church you could possibly need. He is absolutely loaded. He builds a big mansion. I'm not sure whether I'm right or not. He builds a big mansion next to the church, right? He has a housekeeper, so-called mistress. He was bigwigging with big famous opera stars in Paris and all that. And he had loads of money and nobody knew where it come. And this all appeared after he'd been to see, don't get me wrong, that might have been, I think, the Pope, the Vatican. At first, I think they suddenly thought, we need to get rid of this guy. And then they obviously realised that he would have made some security thing, so they had to be sure. Now, what he found were people think it's Mary Magdalene's tomb, people have gone into caves trying to find it, not found anything. There is a painting. I can't think of the name of it now, but there is a picture of a tomb, and a lot of people have said it matches the formation of the mountains, the hills in this place, and directly where it is. That could be where that could be Templar's treasure. You know, they found when they were all bumped off. They obviously knew beforehand, so a certain amount of them were executed, burnt at the stake. A hell of a lot of them got away,